Hey there, welcome to Hiking for Health California. This time I'm going to be doing a quick app review, media review on the Guthooks app, which is kind of a funny title, right? And that goes back to trail names and things like that. So we won't worry about that. It's not a big deal. It's fine. It's called the Guthooks app, which is a strange title for an app, but wow, is it a useful app. So here's my brief take on that. So Guthooks is probably one of the most useful apps for certain things, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But first I want to cover its strengths, and its strengths are absolutely, it goes beyond the usual, because I have several GPS apps that will tell you here's where you are on the trail and things like that. Guthooks can do that, but at the same time, the thing that it excels at is its real-time user entry interface that lets people give reports on all kinds of things, everything from trail conditions to water sources and all that kind of thing. You're on the trail, you're on a certain mile, you can check Guthooks to look ahead of what's ahead of you, and oh, the water source is 3 miles away. Click on it, and oh, somebody was there this morning, just passed through, said that it's flowing, got water there. All right, so I know that's probably a good, because just a few hours ago, water was flowing through there. More than likely, it hasn't dried up yet, right? So I can count on that water source. You can get news on water caches on the big trails, things like that. They can give you news of even some of the trail towns. You click on the thing, oh, I'm going to go to the trail town tomorrow, try and take a zero. Oh, well, this is a bummer. I just see this note from somebody there that says the person who runs the store in this particular town, it's a small town, it's got one store, is gone on vacation and the store is closed for the next 3 days. So I need to make new plans for resupply or whatever, because, you know, it really helps you get those plans, get news ahead of time of what's going on in front of you. You do have that little caveat that it is user entry driven. So if you get some joker on there that's just a jerk and putting false information, that can kind of suck. There is that possibility, although from what I know, that has very rarely happened, if at all. But the possibility's there, unfortunately, because it's human entry and things like that. But really, that is its super strength is it's not just a GPS locator that tells you what mile you're on the trail and how far to go. It helps you not only find water sources, but keep up to date on what water sources are reliable, what's flowing, what's not flowing anymore, if water caches have been kept up or not, things like that. Where's campsites? Little notes sometimes that will tell you, hey, this campsite only has space for about 2 tents. So if you get there and it's full, if you go a third of a mile down the trail and hook a left off the little side, there's more flat space there. Things, all kinds of really useful information that can be put out there, and that's a real strength for Guthooks. It really is. Now, one of the minor drawbacks, and I consider it a minor drawback, considering what it does. One of the minor drawbacks for the Guthooks app is it is specific to certain trails. This is mostly an app that is built for through hikers and section hikers who are doing major scenic trails and things like that. Now they're expanding those all the time. Just a few years ago, Guthooks only covered like what, 4 or 5 trails, maybe something like that. You know, the big 3 in the United States and maybe a couple here and there. Now they've got some international trails. They've got a whole bunch of the United States covered, both big and small and things like that. They're all national scenic trails or some of the bigger, more popular trails, state trails and things like that. But there's quite a few more, and they're adding more all the time, so that's really good. But is it gonna work for your usual like day hikes or maybe regular backpack trips? Only if you're taking those trips on one of these big trails. You're just doing like a little section of it. Like for example, the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm jumping on around Truckee and I'm gonna do 20, 30 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail. Okay, you'll be able to use it. Now, if you're jumping on a trail that's not the PCT, but it's close to the area and it's gonna go off to the side over here, probably not gonna be in Guthooks. So unfortunately, that's not gonna help you. And things like that. So that is one drawback, but they're adding trails all the time. But for just general backpacking, just on basic trails and things like that, probably not going to help you very much. But if you're on a major trail, and that's where you're doing your hiking, extremely helpful. I considered it probably one of the most helpful GPS apps there, mainly because it's beyond, like I said, beyond that GPS app. They've added a whole bunch of new features in the past year or so, a little over a year. That includes a social aspect to it if you're into that kind of thing. If you're not, you don't have to turn it on or activate it or anything like that. But it can be helpful that anyone who also has the app and you allow them to follow you or connect with your account, however, they're able to send you messages. So you can actually get a little bit more personal messages as far as timeliness about things like water sources, camping things. If you've got like, hey, I met this person I'm hiking this section of the PCT, or I'm doing the PCT, and I met so-and-so, they're hiking a little faster than me, so off they went, but we're now hooked up on Guthooks. They can actually send me a message. Oh, hey, I just crossed such and such road, and there's trail angels here. So, if you pick up your pace if you want to get, because they're running out of stuff. All right, now I'm going to get down that trail to get to these trail angels and get some stuff, things like that. So, that made it even better. So, yeah, with all that they've been working on, despite the fact that it is specific to the bigger, more popular national scenic trails, even though, like I said, they're adding more all the time, I'm still going to give this one 5 out of 5 stars. Because for what it's designed for, which is the bigger national scenic trails and through hikers and section hikers on those trails, it is absolutely the king. As I said, I don't know of any other. I mean, I've used a bunch of other GPS location apps, and I've seen water reports, and I've seen, social networks that you can use. Oh yeah, I camped at such and such. You can find a place there. The only app I've ever seen that actually has it all there and is user driven like that, just amazing. Guthooks is it. So again, 5 out of 5. That's my quick look at the Guthooks app. If you're going to be doing any of those big trails, and you can take a look at some of the trails they have to offer and stuff like that without buying the app. You can just kind of take a look. There are lists out there, if you look them up, to tell you if it's going to be worthwhile for you. Are you planning to hike on any of these trails and things like that? Then it's worth it. And you can kind of pick packages depending on what you're going to want. Guthook apps technically is free, but if I want the actual map for the PCT, I can pick this and get the whole PCT. Or I can just, I'm only going to do this section of the PCT. I don't want to spend money on the whole thing, because I'm not going to do that whole thing. I'm just going to be down here doing this, the desert section. You can just get that. Same thing with a lot of the other big trails. You can just get sections of it, or, okay, I'm going to do the Arizona Trail this year. There it is. I'm going to do, So useful app, incredible. I really, I can't say enough about it. It's amazing, very helpful. And that's my quick look at that particular app, the Guthooks app for hikers. Check it out.